welcome to A Slob Comes Clean, the podcast. I'm Dana White. I blog over at aslobcomesclean.com. That's where I share my personal deslobification process. As I figure out ways to keep my own home under control, I share the truth about cleaning and organizing strategies that actually work in real life for real people who don't necessarily love cleaning and organizing. Thanks for joining me today. This is podcast number 105, and as you can tell, my voice is much better. Not all the way better, unfortunately, but it is much better. So today's podcast is going to be about laundry as a routine helps me declutter, which is so not what I'm going to name it because, I have to make it a certain length to make it show up in iTunes, but whatever, it's something like that. Don't you love how prepared I am? How laundry day helps me declutter. I wrote a post about this week, so you can find that over on the website. Another thing too to remember is if you sign up for the email list specifically for podcasts, which means you will get a dedicated email every single time a new podcast comes out. You are set to get that within 24 hours of the podcast coming out. Now, if it goes to your spam folder, obviously you might not see it, but if they're coming out, they are going out to you. That's set up automatically because automatic things are really good for my personality type. So I don't have to remember to do things. But the good thing about that too is that you will, the show notes that I talk about, those are in your email. So even if you go ahead and listen to it on iTunes because it shows up there, if you're subscribed to that, then it's just a super easy way for you to check your email and find anything that I mention that's that I talk about for show notes. Okay. So, and I will link to the post this week, which I'm going to be basically talking through the same concepts here, but other things that you might want to go find out through Sunday, which means that this is extremely time sensitive. Okay. This is not something that is, easy for you to, you can just come back to or whatever. It's time sensitive, but I know that several thousand of you listen within the first day. So, for those of you who are catching this before Sunday, October 16th, 2016, there is a really great deal. I'm working with a company called Grow Collaborative, and it is a subscription service for home products, skin products, personal products, things, soaps and paper towels and toilet paper and stuff, but they're all natural. So they're all very, they have a lot of focus on natural products, sustainable, that kind of stuff. So if that type of stuff is important to you, remember, I think we talked about this last week, didn't we? How people like us tend to have these great ideas about, I want to use the very best products and, I really want to be green or whatever, and then not actually doing it. Anyway, this is a great way for, a great thing for you to look around. But if you make a $20 purchase right now, through my link specifically, if you make a $20 purchase, you also get 3 Mrs. Meyer's products. These are full-sized products, and there's 2 scents that you can choose from. Mum, which I personally cannot do because I can't do floral smells, or apple cider, which I can do because it's one of the rare scents that I can do. And those are fall scents. They smell really yummy, but don't lick them because it's, soap and everything. Anyway, but you get a full-size dish soap, a hand soap, and a multi-surface spray cleaner. And you get dish towels. And I love new dish towels. Just remember when you get them to to do the 1 in, 1 out rule and get rid of your oldest, nastiest towels because you have new ones. Anyway, but just to let you know about that, if you go to the show notes for this, if you go to my website, aslobcomesclean.com, it should be, I think, on that first page. If it's not, scroll down to the bottom of the next one, but I think it should be on that first page to be able to get that. So you order $20 worth of things. I guarantee you there's stuff that you can use to get up to that $20 purchase. Shipping is free for this. But then in addition to whatever you order, you also get those 3 Mrs. Meyer's products. So it really is an amazing deal. Anyway, obviously it's an affiliate thing for me as well, but I have these products and I really like them. So, okay. what was the other thing I was going to talk about? Oh, let's just get into the content and then maybe I will remember what it was. Oh yeah, don't forget, if you have not pre-ordered the book yet, several of you have asked me if it was going to be on audible.com. I know you'll not care about this, but y'all, this whole book writing process and someone else being in charge of anything in my life basically is a whole new thing for me, because as a stay-at-home mom and then a blogger and ebook author and stuff like that, I've basically gotten to do whatever I wanted to do for the last, almost 15 years. So anyway, there are things that I just kind of am not sure. And so I think I've answered that question with I think so, but I really don't know. I overheard, okay, because this is how it rolls. We had a meeting and something was mentioned about, well, because it'll be on Audible. And I was like, okay, latch onto that. Somebody said that. I can't guarantee it, but yes. Or you can pre-order the audiobook. If you would like to get a copy of 14 Days to Opening Your Front Door to Guests, which is perfect for the holidays coming up. It's a very focused thing, which is different from the book because the book, the book is overall, this is what you need to do to change your day by day. I mean, it's like the overall handbook of changing how your home operates. But the 14-day guide, we all know, anybody with my personality type, no matter how well they're doing, needs that focus. So anyway, that 14-day guide is free if you pre-order and you fill out the form that I have on my site for that. So if you do that, make sure that you do that. And again, this will be in the show notes for today's podcast. Okay. And I think, honestly, if you listen to this today and you sign up for the email list at aslobcomesclean.com/podcasts with an S, I think you'll get this email tomorrow. I think, but I can't guarantee that. So, okay. All right. Because it comes out like at 8 o'clock in the morning and pulls whatever has gone out in the last 24 hours. Okay. So we're talking about laundry and we're talking about, blah, blah, blah. What are we talking about? Oh, laundry and how it helps me declutter. Here's the thing. Habits plus, Habits and decluttering are codependent. I thought my house was a project. I thought I had to get it decluttered. I did not see the point in any type of routine, maintenance, day-by-day stuff when it was in such a horrible state. I mean, before the blog started. I mean, that was just my mentality. And logically, it makes sense. Probably doesn't make sense to normal people, but to my brain type, I just could not see the point in day-by-day stuff when my house was such a disaster. And I would look around and go, for me to get this house under control, it's going to be hours and 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 hours of work. I mean, I looked around and I knew that. And so the idea of doing the monotonous stuff when overall the whole place was so overwhelming, it just did not compute. But I didn't know what to do when I started. And so I knew everything I had ever done was wrong. And so I just said, I'm just going to try to figure out how to keep my kitchen under control. I'm just going to try to figure out how to keep my dishes done. Okay. And by doing that, and then adding other daily tasks over time and just focusing on the daily stuff, that's when I actually saw change in my home. Okay. But the thing to remember is, or that I had to remember, first of all, decluttering became easier when the things that needed to be daily tasks actually were daily tasks and therefore took so much less time than they did when I let them turn into projects and, had to spend 3 hours cleaning my kitchen instead of, 10 minutes to get the dishes done. It added time to my day for me to be able to declutter. But the other thing that happened is those habits, those daily tasks, those consistent, boring, not fun in the least bit things that I had always put off until they turned into projects, those things helped open my eyes and let me chill out and helped me declutter because, I have an amazing imagination. It's a really great quality, except for when I can't possibly get rid of something because I can imagine all the reasons I might possibly need it someday. I mean, it's a real problem, like a real problem for me. Okay. And it's something I had to really break through, but getting the daily boring stuff under control opened my eyes and helped me declutter. Okay. So I'm going to talk specifically about laundry. Here's the thing. I have loved some of the comments that I've gotten on this post. People saying either they resisted this method and then they eventually tried it. I have a whole podcast on, I think it's called Laundry Conquered, and basically how I got laundry under control. So I'm going to refer to the basics, but you can go back and listen to how it all exactly works in that podcast, which if I remember, I will put in the show notes. That's if I remember. Okay. But anyway, so I looked at that. I don't know what I just said. I was saying something really, really profound. Like I looked at that and I don't know what I was going to say. Anyway, but laundry, once I got it under control, changed my ability to get rid of clothes because here's the reality when laundry was not under control. I never felt like we had enough. We were always running out of socks and underwear. Okay. Let's just all be super honest right now and say that you can do the sniff test on jeans, right? I mean, jeans don't have to be washed every single time you wear them. You can check them and make sure and then wear them another time or two. But please, no one ever do the sniff test on underwear or socks. Okay, let's just all admit that those are single use only and never to be worn again. And moms, this is a public service announcement for if your children happen to be listening. I mean, I'm not going to name any names, but it's possible that I have encountered some people in my life that much to my shock. Really, this doesn't necessarily come naturally to them. But anyway, so if your kids are listening, your mom is right. You cannot wear underwear more than one day. You just can't. I'm sorry. You just can't. I shouldn't have to explain it. You just can't. Okay. Anyway, but my point is we were constantly running out of those things because we didn't have laundry under control. And then that snowballs in that whenever we did do laundry, it was forever a catch-up game, which meant that you first had to do socks and underwear, which meant that actually getting into the pile and getting into all the other stuff that we had was, we never got through all of the laundry, okay, because it was always an emergency load and it was always those things that get worn again and again. And so anyway, once I got laundry under control, okay, so I kept buying more because that was the thing is I always had this nagging feeling that we did not have enough clothes. And so I was always buying more. And this was at the time in my life where I was garage sailing like crazy. I mean, like I was forever at a garage sale. I would get up. I mean, I seriously sometimes couldn't sleep on Friday night because I was so excited because whatever had been in the paper that was going to be a garage sale the next morning. I had my plan. I mean, I loved it. And I would buy clothes. And if somebody had clothes for 25 cents, I would buy bags and bags and bags. And I would come home with them. And it didn't make any sense to me that I was bringing clutter into my house. Like I had no concept that I was bringing clutter in and making it harder to maintain my home because I didn't know I had a clutter threshold. I didn't understand that a clutter threshold was a thing, mostly because I've made it up since then, but realizing that there's a point where I can't handle stuff anymore. And when I can't handle it anymore, excuse me, I'm not all the way better. Well, when I can't handle it anymore, it's clutter. But I kept bringing this stuff in because I always had a nagging feeling that we didn't have enough clothes because we were always running out. We were not running out because we didn't have enough clothes. We were running out because we didn't have a laundry routine. Okay. So, by the way, I never bought socks and underwear at garage sales because that's gross. Okay. Just wanted to get that out there. But that was basically that was the vicious cycle of things. Okay. I was forever running out. So I never felt like we had enough. So I was always buying more. The more we had, the longer I could go before I had to do laundry again. And the longer I could go before I had to do laundry again, the bigger the piles were, the more overwhelming they were, and the less likely I was to actually make a real dent in those piles. Okay. So that was the vicious cycle. But once I figured out laundry, okay, and just a brief overview, I tried, like, oh my word, nobody's business. I tried so hard to do the one load a day, because that is what the real organized people do. I mean, that is what the experts, that's what people who their house always looks fantastic, they do one load a day. And I mean, it's such a fantastic idea. And I think what I was saying earlier is that on this post, I love it because some people are like, they actually tried laundry day because I suggested it, even though the one load a day had worked for them and laundry day didn't work for them. Here's my thing. Whatever you do, as long as you're keeping your laundry consistently clean and you don't have stuff at the bottom of your laundry hamper that you don't even know what it is because you've never gotten to the bottom of your laundry hamper. Like, if you're actually keeping laundry under control, don't try laundry day. I mean, whatever you're doing is awesome. It's about having a routine. It's not about having a certain routine. It's about having a routine. Okay. You just have to have a routine. So it works the same way for people who do one load a day. I just personally could not do that because I cannot remember to change over the load. And then I end up rewashing the same load 1,000 bajillion times and never getting to the really stuff that we actually need. Anyway, it was just a vicious cycle for me. So I never got that under control. But once I did laundry day, here's what happened. The first laundry day is horrible and evil and awful if you're behind, like I was, because the first step is to take every last piece of dirty clothes in your house and sort it into piles. And talk about breaking through delusions of not having enough clothes. If your we don't have a real hallway. I know in the house we had lived in before, we had a long hallway, and I would pile laundry down the hallway, and it would take the entire hallway. We don't really have a hallway. It's kind of a little area, I guess. I call it a hallway. Anyway, too much information. Stop talking, Dana. Anyway, basically it went into my living room, and when not my entire living room, but a lot of my living room is like pile after pile after pile after pile of clothes. That kind of breaks through the delusion that we don't have enough clothes. I mean, just seeing them all in one place, seeing that this is just our dirty clothes. That kind of gave me a different perspective on how many clothes we actually had in our house, and helped me see, okay, there's some sort of disconnect here between this nagging feeling that we don't have enough clothes, which causes me to go buy more, when once they were all, laid out, I could see, we have plenty of clothes. It's, not having enough is not the issue. So it just kind of broke through that, not realizing how many clothes we actually had. Number two, it's the confidence. Like, yes, I had an idea that we didn't have enough clothes. I had this nagging feeling. Part of that was, another way to look at that is, I didn't have confidence that I was going to have what we needed when we needed it. Okay. And that part of it was, I didn't trust myself to keep laundry done. So yes, I didn't have a good concept of how many clothes we had or didn't have. I just didn't trust myself. I mean, it's not like I was living under this, delusion that, I have laundry under control. I knew I didn't have it under control. I knew it was a never-ending, horrible thing. I mean, yes. I mean, I totally knew that. But the thing was, once I got the routine under control, there's this strange thing that happens mentally and psychologically when I start to actually trust myself. Like, trust and And, there are still rare occasions where life happens. I mean, but it is super rare. I'll tell you that. When life happens and we do run out of underwear, generally it is because someone did not do a good job bringing me all of their dirty clothes. And I will say that I'm a little snarky about that. When that happens, I'm like, well, it's because you didn't bring me your dirty clothes. And occasionally then I'll realize, oh, wait, I left that last load in the washer all week. And oh, well, anyway. But generally it's because that first step of gathering up all the dirty clothes in the house didn't happen correctly. But in general, I have full and complete confidence that my kid, well, I wouldn't even say in general. I mean, I would say as a rule, I have confidence that every single person in this house has all the underwear and all the socks that they need at all times. Like, it's not even which to a normal person is probably like, okay. But to somebody like me, y'all, if you're listening to this podcast because we have the same brain, which I'm told all the time, think about that. I mean, think about that, living in that confidence. I mean, and so it was only through getting that routine down that I just kind of was able to relax and trust myself and know that we're going to have that. The same thing happened with dishes. Knowing that we've always got plenty of clean dishes. Somehow on the weekends especially, we run through the glasses because sometimes I don't even understand it. But but it's having that confidence. Excuse me, I'm about to cough again, so I need to go pause it. But it's having that confidence. And if you haven't lived with that confidence, oh my word, y'all, get yourself a laundry routine because it will change everything. And then here's the main way. So knowing how much I had, breaking through that delusion that I didn't have enough, through that strange mental thing of me thinking I didn't have enough, actually giving myself confidence to know that I have enough. Or that I'm going to keep these clean. I'm going to consistently do it. I can trust myself that I'm going to consistently clean them. And then I'm like, well, I don't have to keep this pair of underwear that's literally hanging on by a thread, because I don't have to keep those because I never need them. I don't have to, there was this idea that living in this mentality or whatever it's called of scarcity, thinking, well, I have to keep these ones that have a hole in them because what if I run out? Where when you kind of finally have that confidence of, well, I'm do laundry every Monday, so why would that happen? Anyway, once I do that, then I don't have that strange attachment to underwear that should have been thrown away a really long time ago. Please don't donate underwear. I'm sorry. This is just a little issue, and I'm sure there's people who feel differently, but if you want to donate, I mean, I think that like shelters and things like that really need underwear for people. Let's all go buy an extra pair of clean, brand new, fresh underwear. Okay, I've said underwear a lot in this podcast. Sorry about that. Anyway, here is the extra or the biggest beauty of all of this. We know the container concept, right? The container concept is every space in my home, every drawer, every shelf, every room is a container. Containers are meant to contain. They are natural limits that determine how much of an item I am able to keep. Okay? If I'm able to keep a certain volume of items, meaning I don't have to sit there and say to myself, well, let me do the math and figure out how many, let me just say it again, how many pairs of underwear, I'm just going to say underwear like 1,000 times this time, I'm sorry. Anyway, but how many pairs of underwear I am going to keep. Let me do the math. Okay, if I do laundry every Monday, and then, well, what if there's a week when, and then we go out of town, and then okay, I don't have to worry about that. Okay? The drawer determines how much underwear I can keep. Because if I have more than will fit in that drawer, then it overflows and I can't close the drawer and my house gets out of control. So that determines how much I can do, okay? But then here's the little thing too. that I had heard other people say and that was totally true for me. Well, if I ever got caught up on laundry, I wouldn't have room in our drawers and closets for all the clothes. I didn't see that as some sort of a thing I needed to actually deal with. I just saw that as a frustration because I didn't understand clothes could be clutter because clothes are useful. Yeah, that is actually true. But that, instead of saying, oh, well, if that ever happens, that would be a problem. Instead, it's a beautiful gift of helping me know what it is I need to declutter. Because here's what happened, especially with my kids, okay? I would put their clothes away on Monday, or I would, if they were home, I would have them put them away themselves. And as I did that, I started to see when I would put them away, first of all, not everything fits in there. But then this other strange thing happened in my brain. I would look in their drawer and I would see that week after week, I was washing the same clothes and then other clothes were staying in their drawer and never getting worn. Because always before, we had to use everything that we had because it was so long, and there was no guarantee that your favorite thing was going to get washed. But they had this confidence. They didn't know what was happening. They just knew that their favorite clothes, the ones they would choose first when they had a choice of all of the clothes that existed in our house, their favorite clothes, they would pick it again and again. And so they would wear the same clothes every week. That's just what they would do. Okay. They would, oh, okay. Well, if everything's clean, I'm going to choose this blue shirt because this is my favorite shirt. They didn't know what their favorite shirt was before because they saw it. They grabbed it once, but by the time it was clean again, they had forgotten that's my favorite shirt. Now they would grab it first again, but it wasn't anything consistent. So when things were consistent, they were grabbing the same things, generally the same 7 outfits again and again and again, and things that were left in the drawer on Monday, meaning a whole week's worth of clothing have been worn, whatever's left in the drawer is not their favorite. That was so freeing in my decluttering efforts to realize we don't have to go into their room and say, hey, look, let's go through all your clothes. Do you like this one? Do you like this one? Because, hey, they're just like me, except as a child and going, well, I forgot about that shirt. Well, I think I might wear that. Yeah, I think I would wear that. Sure, yes, you know what? It is my favorite. But the reality was they never chose it. And so then it was easy. It's amazing how easy it is to declutter when you start to realize which things you're using every day, because you can use them every day or every week because they're actually clean every day or every week. Same thing with dishes. I was able to see, you know what? We don't choose these plates because they're heavy or whatever. For some reason, we don't choose these plates. I can get rid of those because I had the confidence that the ones we loved were going to be there all the time. The coffee cups. I have 2 favorite coffee cups and they're always clean. Before, I didn't know I had a favorite coffee cup because they weren't always, we would go through every single coffee cup before I would end up washing them because I had to. And so I didn't consistently know, you know what, when I can choose from every single coffee cup we have every single day, I choose the same one over and over and over because I only give myself 1 cup of coffee and I can only have a certain amount because over that, I get jittery. So I like to have right up to that amount that I can have. And I know this cup is the best one. It's the perfect amount for me. And so I would use it every single day. And I realized, oh, I have a favorite coffee cup. I didn't know that before. So getting the routine down helps make decluttering so much easier. Okay. Let me see how much time I've been talking. I feel like I've been talking a really, really long time. It has been right on time. Okay. So a couple other things I wanted to make sure I mention. Pre-order How to Manage Your Home Without Losing Your Mind. There are reviews on Goodreads from the people who have been pre-readers, and about half of them, I would say, are blog readers, and half of them are people who'd never heard before of anything that I do. So that's kind of fun. And the reviews are, I'm loving them because I feel like they are, brag alert. Okay. I feel like I'm excited because the reviews, the vast majority of them are giving details that are the things I want people to know. You know what I mean? Like it does not help me to read a review and somebody's like, oh, it's really, really good. I mean, they're like saying, okay, I was skeptical because of this, and then this is what changed my mind or whatever. So anyway, I'm very excited about that. You can look on Goodreads if you want. But I want to make sure that you remember that you need to go pre-order, and then you need to fill out the form on my site to pre-order. If you go to my site, and I'm going to change this right now to make sure I don't forget. If you go to my site, on the sidebar, if you're on a desktop, you have to scroll to the bottom if you're on mobile. Anyway, there's a little thing that says coming in November, pre-order now. And on that, there will be a link to the thing that allows you to put in your order number on the thing, because I don't actually have any access to your information wherever you pre-order it. But this form is the thing that will get you the pre-order bonuses. So don't think they're going to automatically come to your email unless you go and specifically sign up for that. But I will put a link to that in the show notes for this podcast number 105. And I think that's it for right now. Okay. Thank you so much for joining me. I am very excited about the book coming out. And for those of you who are audio type people anyway, I'm excited to hopefully have found out, I think I found out correctly, that it will be on Audible, but also it will be available, I think, as a CD or an MP3 that you can buy through Amazon as well. So you can pre-order that. If you want the pre-order stuff, you do have to pre-order, which I don't think you can do on Audible necessarily. But anyway, you can pre-order and get those bonuses, or order the hard copy too. So anyway, thanks for joining me, and I will talk to you guys next week.